Welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am Tom Downey here with all the latest rumors and news on America's team, and we're going to do it again. Some out-of-context ESPN reports that aren't actually reports. We'll break it down with Dalvin Cook. Could he come to the Dallas Cowboys? ESPN kind of sort of linked Dalvin Cook and the Cowboys, and that has led to some, we call it what it is, out-of-context, sometimes intentional, sometimes, I assume on accident, out-of-context claims. It's very similar to the Derrick Henry rumors we discussed on yesterday's show, Thursday's show, although Dalvin Cook is much more likely to be moved, but that doesn't mean that this is like a prediction to sign or that it's likely. So let's break down what Bill Barnwell actually wrote. And this was several weeks ago. Why it's being, updated again, I'm not really sure, but that's where we're at. He was talking about the running back plan. What do the Cowboys need to do to replace Zeke Elliott? He actually said what could be next is Elliott's return. That was the closer to prediction in this article. He says the reunion could be in the cards if Zeke doesn't find what he's looking for in the open market. He had apparently narrowed his list down to the Bengals, Eagles, and Jets, which was a wish list, not an actual interest list. And those teams appear to be close to getting a deal done. And this is where things got distorted. If it's not Elliott, the Cowboys could look toward a market that still includes Leonard Fournette, Latavius Murray, Kareem Hunt. They're unsigned. There's also a chance that veterans, expensive ones like Derrick Henry and Dalvin Cook, could be released after the draft. This is a Dobbs-style tweet of Dalvin Cook linked to the Cowboys. It's not really what's being listed there. That's no different than when we do our replacements list on players, and we list a long list of names, throw some ideas out there. We're not predicting that anything ends up happening with that particular player. These are the names you should probably consider. It's like a draft targets list or a mock draft. It's not a prediction, like an actual report. It's just like, here's some names to monitor, right? This has turned into a bad game of telephone where it just gets out of context and out of proportion because Bill Barnwell wasn't reporting anything. Mel Kiper does a mock draft, doesn't mean it's a guarantee that the Cowboys take that player. It's just not how things work here. And oh, by the way, I don't even want Dalvin Cook on this Cowboys team. He is not the same guy. Look at this production. The average yards per carry is significant. 5.1, 4.7, 4.4. At his age, that is fairly significant regression that I don't think can actually be overlooked in terms of what he is at this stage. He's going to be 28 years old. We know how short the shelf life is of backs, and his yards over expectation, really bad. Not only that, he's $12.6 million per year. The Cowboys would be paying him about $11 million. You are already paying Tony Pollard $10 million. It's the same conversation with Derrick Henry, and Dalvin Cook's not as good as Derrick Henry here. This is a situation where do you want to pay, even if it gets cut, let's say it costs you $7 million if you're lucky, $6 million, try to pay $16 million or $20 million for a backfield with a guy that I think is declining in Dalvin Cook? No, I have no desire to make that happen. So what do you guys want, though? Do you want to get Dalvin Cook on this team? Y for yes, N for no. It's the pinned comment on today's show. So if the ad break comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there. Let me know. Let's talk kickers. It's one of those days. Kickers in need. It's fine. We can have the conversation. Inside the Star, amongst others, suggested the Cowboys could go sign kicker Robbie Gould. And they are in the market for kicker help. We all know that. It's not going to be the random guy on the roster at this point here. Now, Robbie Gould is a name at kicker, as far as a name not named Justin Tucker can be one. But the Niners were very quick to move on for him. They even traded for a kicker in Zane Gonzalez versus bringing back Gould. And if he is cheap with no guaranteed money so that I can cut him if I need to in training camp, then I have interest. But as we'll get into here in a little bit, I am not paying Robbie Gould significant money at this stage in his NFL career because, well, why would I be? We'll break that down here. But first, today's show is sponsored by Z-Biotics. Let's face it, after y'all hit me with a bunch of super chats, I don't bounce back that well the next day, especially at my age now. And it's until I found Z-Biotics. Z-Biotics Pre-Alcohol Probiotic is the world's first genetically engineered probiotic. It was invented by PhD scientists to tackle rough mornings after drinking. Here's how it works. When you drink, alcohol gets converted into a toxic byproduct in the gut. It's this byproduct, not dehydration, that's to blame for your rough next day. ZBiotics makes an enzyme to break down this byproduct. It's designed to work just like your liver, but in your gut, where you need it the most. So drink ZBiotics before drinking alcohol, drink responsibly, and get a good night's sleep to feel your best tomorrow. Give ZBiotics a try for yourself. Go to zbiotics.com/chatsports to get 15% off your order when you use code chatsports at checkout. ZBiotics is backed by 100% money-back guarantee. So if you're unsatisfied for any reason, they'll refund your money. No questions asked. Head to zbiotics.com/chatsports and use code chatsports at checkout for 15% off. Thank you to ZBiotics for sponsoring today's show. And remember, the link and the promo code are in the comments section and the description of today's show. That's zbiotics.com/chatsports. Let's go back now to Robbie Gould, who, look, the numbers are on screen, folks. He ain't that guy anymore. He's reliable in the postseason. Don't get me wrong on that front. But 84.4%, 87%, 82.6, 74.2. That is not the accuracy, with a lot of missed extra points too, of a kicker that goes, this is our savior. That's the point, by the way, of kickers, because there aren't actually that many of them who are that type of player. I actually fully expect the Cowboys are going to not pay big money at kicker. I think they're going to have a UDFA kicker. Now, maybe they take a 7th-round flyer on somebody. Sure. Everyone wants Jake Moody. Keep an eye on Chad Ryland, the Maryland kicker, because Bones Fossil went to the pro day. That's about as clear of a sign as you'll see when it comes to kicker interest there. So what would you do to fix the problems since it seems like Brett Maher's not going to be back at this point? F for sign a veteran free agent. Mason Crosby's also bad, by the way. U for an undrafted free agent. Or D for draft somebody. Get those answers in the comment section. Let's hit Michael Gallup. A report from the Dallas Morning News. Calvin Watkins says the Cowboys plan to use Michael Gallup more this upcoming season. And the implication was that, well, not the implication, this outright statement was that Mike McCarthy has told Gallup he will be featured more. And the implication was that Kellen Moore didn't want to get him the football, which Kellen was right. Michael Gallup, bad last year. There's no way around it. He did not look right. He didn't move very well. He looked unconfident. He didn't plant. He wasn't good in contested catches. He allowed a lot of the mistakes from the quarterback where, you know what, if Gallup actually does his job, it's probably not a pick anymore. So that was a real issue. You didn't get 2019 Michael Gallup. If you do run a lot more slant-flat combinations, Gallup is good on slant, so I think that starts to make some sense. But I am a little cautious of forcing the ball to Gallup if he doesn't have a bounce-back year. I think he will, and that's partially based on, let's speak some positivity into the universe on Gallup, because 2019 Gallup we haven't seen for 3 years. Now, there have been bouncing reasons versus excuses, right? As quarterback was hurt. He was hurt. He was hurt again. Quarterback being hurt's a reason, but last year, kind of felt more like an excuse. So Cowboys need Gallup to bounce back, but I think there's some confidence issues there. So how confident are you in Michael Gallup, who for now I'm going to put his wide receiver 3 behind Lamb and Cooks, by the way. Scale it from 1 to 10. 1 on the low end, 10 on the high end. Sound off in the comment section. Finally, some defensive tackle free agent targets floated out by Blogging the Boys. 3 good names to consider. No Poona Ford, though. Made me sad. Ndamukong Suh. We can't go an offseason without Suh and the Dallas Cowboys, although it is worth mentioning he actually wasn't that good for Philadelphia. He had I think he had a sack in his first game, then 10 tackles altogether. It does seem weird to kind of say out loud, but Ndamukong Suh is an old man by football years. He's 36 years old. That is unbelievable longevity at defensive tackle. I wonder if he will play football at all this year. Now, the Cowboys do need defensive tackle help. They were unable to retain Carlos Watkins. The nose tackles right now are Hankins, Quinton Bohanna, and Bohanna's fighting for a roster spot right now. So depending on how the draft goes, which maybe you do take somebody in the NFL draft, I think that starts to make some sense there. If you get the right guy. You don't get one, free agency is an option as well. We will have more Cowboys videos for you right here at the Cowboys Report. Where else, right? You want free videos every day, if not multiple times per day? Hit that sub button right now. Michael Brockers, next up on this list. He's a name that many of you have floated in the comments section before. The common theme of this list, these are old guys who are not what they were in their prime. And I don't know how much more Brockers has left in the tank because barely played last year, 6 games played, injuries, 4 tackles. 2021, 1 sack, 4 TFLs, 52 tackles. I think we are very much in the Damon Snacks Harrison range for all 3 of these guys. They don't have much left, if anything. And Al Woods wraps things up here, who has a good agent because he got Rappaport tweets some ridiculous things about how good Al Woods is. But he would be a fun pickup, a solid pickup as a veteran defensive lineman. It's just a matter of, okay, what are you really going to do with him long term? We'll go more in depth on Woods here, but pick one of these 3 guys to sign. No write-in votes for Poona Ford, even though that's what I would do. NS for Ndamukong Suh, MB for Michael Brockers, AW for Al Woods. Who would you bring in? Sound off for me in the comment section right now. Now, Woods didn't play in 2020, by the way. It was a COVID opt-out. He's missed at least 1 game pretty much every single season. The TFL numbers are still solid. If you want someone in that Hankins mold, I actually think Al Woods might be the most intriguing name of this bunch because he was actually healthy last year. Brockers and Suh weren't. So, of the 3, I think I go Al Woods, but I would not rule out a draft pick for this Cowboys team in just a couple of weeks.